guys, we are on location for a really exclusive, very high-end American classic shoot featuring some Euro flavor, which is very surprising coming from this guy. But this is a very, very awesome opportunity. Very thankful for this, and we're gonna get right into it. Meet the owner and go through a few of his cars that he has, and yeah, go from there. You ready, Oscar? All right, we are here with the owner, Mr. Wade. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Excellent.
Yes, so thanks for the opportunity again. And well, I guess we'll first start off. Where are you from, sir?
Originally from the Midwest,
Okay.
Kansas City.
Okay.
And I spent a lot of years out on the West Coast.
Right.
And I escaped.
Okay. Is most of your time like military stuff, or like how you ended up here? Or?
Oh, I did a career in the military, retired from them, worked civil service, but that was along with several other careers.
Okay. What's your background with cars? How'd you get into cars in the first place? Your origin?
I was a car nut from knee high to a grasshopper. My mom told me when I was real young that I'd point out cars as we'd be driving and name them, and I was just always into cars. When I turned 16, my first car was a 70 340 Duster, and our whole family were Mopar people.
Yeah.
Chrysler. My granddad was an engineer.
Okay.
So Chrysler had the best engineering. Not necessarily the best cars, but their engineering was the best.
Yeah.
So I just was into cars, and I joined the Navy, went over to Vietnam, and I had some money, so started buying cars. 70 Roadrunner was my one of the few cars that I had among. I just had amazing cars. So I've just been into cars since the beginning.
Okay.
And once I retired, it's like I can actually enjoy doing this.
Right.
So I started a little collection.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So I don't know if you want to start. If you want to start with kind of the oddball out the group, or you want to start with any one of these.
Well, actually, they're all kind of odd cars.
Yeah.
Other than the BMW, that's for my wife.
Okay.
She lets me have all these cars, so I wanted her to have a car, and she likes convertibles, and so that's her car. She gets to drive it around when she wants it. Pretty much sits, but it's there for her.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
that's probably the least oddball car, because these other cars, like the Roadrunner here, Mopar or Plymouth built Roadrunner convertibles for 2 years, 69 and 70. 70, they only built 824 of them.
Wow.
And of them, this one has a pistol grip 4-speed and a 383, and it's one of 179 that they built.
Wow. Okay.
So, and the car's all original. It's probably Chrysler just did things that were way, way off the charts, like these colors. This is a high impact. It's called Vitamin C, and you can see the shifter. They did the pistol grip Hurst shifter, and they were the only ones who did this.
Wow,
So
okay.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
And they're, like I said, it's a rare car. All of these cars are pretty rare.
Right. And this one's manual, right?
Yeah, this is a 4-speed
Okay.
Hurst pistol grip. And like I said, I had one of these when I was in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really hard to find. They only built 824 of them. And Chryslers were known for, rusting in the night.
Yeah.
So there's not that many left.
Right.
And I ran across this one, and my wife gave me the green light. So
Okay.
I didn't dilly-dally around. I went and bought it immediately.
Right. Were you looking around like the auctions, like Mecum and Barrett Jackson, or was it just like private sellers?
No, this was a private seller.
Okay.
It was a consignment out of Texas.
Oh, okay.
But Mecum and Barrett, they're great, but those people are in a different economic stratosphere than I
Yeah.
am. So
Okay.
they have their drinks and then they start bidding.
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
What threw me off, I think, about this car and the Superbird is that there's only one mirror on the driver's side. I was trying to back out the driveway. I was like, "Whoa, there's only one mirror." What is the purpose of that, or?
Everything was an option back in those days.
Okay.
This is just your manual mirror. The Superbird, you'll see the mirror's a little different, and it's got a knob on the inside, so it's a remote mirror.
Okay. Right.
Right? The AAR, it's got both mirrors, and the left is remote and the other one's manual.
Okay.
So you could have optioned this car with a remote mirror, and you could have paid for an optional right mirror. Same thing with the Superbird.
Okay.
So things have changed since 50 years ago with cars.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Is all this is all original? You said. Even this decal here.
It's a restoration.
Oh, okay.
It is a restoration. After I bought the car, I started. I joined some Facebook Roadrunner pages, and I ended up finding out who restored the car. He's out of
Okay.
I think Philadelphia. I'm not sure, but I talked to him, and this car, it took him about 3 years to restore. It was
Wow.
finished in 2012.
Wow.
So, and he does good work.
Yeah. Clearly, yeah.
And he likes Mopar convertibles, period. That's what he restores.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it be the Cudas or the Challengers or the Satellites or the Roadrunners.
Was this restored to original spec too? So it came with the white interior, orange paint?
Yes.
Awesome.
This
Okay.
car was restored to factory.
Okay.
Every Mopar has a fender tag, which is actually really helpful because the fender tag tells you everything about the car. Tells you the engine, transmission, tells you the color, and all the options that were on the car.
Wow.
From
Okay.
new.
Wow. Okay. I did not know that.
So that's one thing Mopar did real good.
Yeah. You can tell that's like a real example too as well. That's awesome. This engine, I know they came with a lot of options back in the day with a lot of different cubic inch engines.
The Roadrunner was pretty much, it started out as 383. This was the cheap race car is what it was. But you could get a 446 barrel, which is what's in the Superbird,
Okay.
and you could get a Hemi. But that was it. You had a choice of 3 engines.
Oh, okay.
And the 383 was standard. The majority of the cars were built with the 383, and the others were optional engines.
Okay. I know that there's a few like different horsepower figures. Like, what do you think this is making on this one?
This is 335 horsepower.
Okay.
That's what it's rated at.
Okay.
It's the high performance 383. The 446 barrel, which is in the Superbird, is rated at 390 horsepower. And then the 426 is rated at 425 horsepower.
Okay. It's a lot for back in the early.
And then the 440
early
Magnum,
30s.
which the 440, the Superbird came with the 440, 446 pack, or 6 barrel. Plymouth called it a 6 barrel. Dodge called it 6 pack, and the Hemi. So you had 3 choices in that car as well.
Right. So, have you done anything like with this car that yourself that you've kind of changed up, or you haven't kept the original restoration?
The only thing I did is I've got the original. The original steering wheel is just a black 3-spoke, and I really like these. This was an option on the Plymouth back in the day, the wood rim steering wheel. So
Okay.
I added that to the car.
Okay.
Other than that, the car is dead stock as I bought it. I'm going to keep it that way.
Right. I love the decals. I like how they're so subtle, but they really go with the car as far as like the color scheme.
They call that the dust trail.
Yeah.
You see a little Roadrunner at the very beginning.
Right. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen that. That's awesome. BF Goodrich tires. Have you upgraded like to like disc brakes, or is it still drum brakes?
It is discs in the front, power discs in the front, and drums in the rear.
Okay. Okay.
So, and that's the way the car was built.
Right. Okay. Okay. That's
So,
awesome.
I can't really tell you that much about it.
Okay.
My wife had one back. I bought her one back in '94, and it was a nice little car. They run good. They drive real nice, and they're pretty. This is pretty mechanical by today's standards. It's got a manual top, which I really like because the power tops, especially the European cars, very complicated, and they break, and it costs lots of money to fix. So,
Right.
so this car's perfect. The top never goes up anyway. It sits in a garage under a cover.
I forgot to ask, how many miles are on the convertible here?
Yeah, convertible has about 78,000 miles, I think.
Okay.
Or 74.
That's pretty good. And
Yeah,
then
this one's
one-
got 57.
Wow.
So they're all pretty low mileage cars.
Yeah. This is all original too, same motor.
Yeah. It's an inline 6, 3.5 liter.
Oh, okay. This is the
And they're
inline
just
6. Okay.
they're glass smooth,
Right.
good torque.
Right.
Yeah, they're just nice driving little cars.
Yeah. It's awesome. This one's automatic.
Oh yeah.
Has the business package, looks like the business radio, or had it. Has a Kenwood
it's got
now.
an aftermarket radio now.
Yeah.
And
Perfect interior though. It's
it's a nice car.
immaculate condition. So yeah, for your wife, was this found like private seller too, or?
No, I found this on Bring a Trailer.
Oh, okay.
So that is pretty good. In fact, I just sold a car on that. We had a 95 E320 Cabriolet.
Oh,
Mercedes, and I sold that on BAT.
Mm-hmm.
That's an amazing website if you're a car person.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I've seen the trailer around here a few times. It's very expensive cars, McLarens and BMWs.
Yes.
Yeah. This is very nice. So I have a thing for the Euro stuff, the bottle cap rims and.
Yep. Okay.
You know.
What you're
Yeah. 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 I've been looking for an E30 coupe for a little bit, but I just like how the last mechanical BMWs. After E36 and E46, they went to electric everything. So.
And then that's when you run into problems.
Right.
Not initially, but when the cars get older.
Right.
Then they become problematic.
Right. But this one, I'm sure it's not going to give you issues for a while. It's all mechanical and.
I hope not.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to move on to the Cuda here.
Yeah. Okay.
This is one of the specialty cars here.
Yeah. Plymouth wanted to go racing in Trans Am.
Uh-huh.
So Trans Am required, they had homologation rules. In order to race in Trans Am, they were required to build a certain number of cars.
Right.
So they built 20, let me see, I'm going to go to my crib notes, so bear with me. They built a total of 2,724 of the AAR CUDA. Dodge built the Challenger TA. They couldn't use Trans Am because Pontiac already had it, so they did the TA.
Yeah.
And they built these cars. They went racing. They weren't that successful, but they were just cool cars because they had to be homologated. Oh, and of these, there's only 1,452 known to exist.
Wow.
So it's pretty rare. But
Do you know what number this one is?
no, they didn't.
Okay.
They didn't number these cars.
Oh, okay.
They just built 2,700 of them, shoved them out the door. And the cool thing about the AAR is it and the TA were the only car and the first car to have staggered wheels. So the The fronts had F-Series tires, F60s, and the rears had G60s, a wider. It was also the only car Mopar made, and I'm talking both this and the TA, where it had the trumpet exhaust in front of the tires.
Oh, okay.
They also had, this car was the ducktail spoiler was unique to the car. The hood was, you can see virtually all of them are curled because the springs, even though it has springs that were less tension, it was still too much, and the fiberglass bowed over time.
Wow, okay.
Now the real thing about this car, this is the TA, is this engine, a 346 barrel. This 340 was unique to the AAR and the TA.
Okay.
It has increased webbing for strength. It's set up for 4 main bearings, although it was 2 main bearing out of the factory.
Okay.
But the engine is unique to these cars. It's the only cars Chrysler ever put them in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I did not realize the difference between the regular CUDA and the AAR. So AAR is only homologation spec.
Exactly.
Wow.
It
Okay.
it was a special car, just like the Bird.
Wow.
They built
Okay.
them so that they could go racing.
Okay. Wow.
And this one has it's a pretty rare. It has the elastomeric bumpers front and rear, which is just incredibly rare.
Okay.
With the AAR. A number of them had the front elastomeric, but the rear was chrome. And this one has both. It's all original. It was restored back in '05.
Okay.
And then it spent a number of years in museum, and then it got sold to the outside. And then the other things that were not original to the car, but they could have been installed when the car was new. You know, the customer could have paid because they're optional. Was the rim blow steering wheel and the louvers on the back. And there you can see this is the remote for the mirror.
Oh, okay.
And then the other mirror, the other racing mirror is a manual mirror.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. There's no button on that side. Okay. This dash is crazy. It's sticks out pretty
Yep.
good.
And this car has 50,000 miles.
50,000 miles. Wow. How often do you think you get to drive, like, I guess, all these? Is it?
I can drive them anytime I want.
Yeah.
But I don't. They're different values.
Right.
And people kind of rubberneck. So I worry about, especially with that car, getting rear-ended or something happening to it.
I understand.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I kind of consider myself now a steward of these cars, because eventually, you know, when I reach that age, whatever that age is,
Yeah.
I'll end up selling them to the next set of people that just have a love for these cars.
Right.
So part of my job is to be a steward and take care of the cars.
I understand. Yeah. It's like you're at that stage now. You can't really, I guess, enjoy them for what they are. Can't drive them around all the time, but when you do, because they are collector's items, I understand. You know, you gotta take care of them best you can, and I like how you bring them to shows and stuff, though. At least, at least you get them out there a few times.
And that's my hobby in retirement.
Yeah.
Is these cars. I enjoy going to the shows because people come up and talk to you, and everybody's got stories. You know, I've got a Grand National as well.
Right. Yeah.
And, but I don't have it here.
Oh, okay.
Buddy, I have no space, so my buddy takes care of it.
Okay.
But everybody's got a Grand National story.
Yeah.
Because back in the late '80s, during the Malaise era,
Mm-hmm.
nothing ran.
Right. Right.
Everything was a mutt. And then Buick stuff's a little turbocharged, fuel injected V6 in this car, and it just blows everybody's doors off.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
I have to come back when you have that one, because that's Oscar's dream car there. So.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely get it out for you guys. So it's a nice car.
Right. Is this the same color as this one? The same paint codes?
Yes, they're both FY1, and they call it lemon twist.
Lemon twist.
And these were high impact colors.
Yeah.
Chrysler had, I think, 7 of them.
Wow.
And
Okay.
the yellow, the lemon twist, at least on the Superbird, was the most popular color for the car.
Right.
And so it's not the rarest, but
Okay.
I like the color.
Yeah. Yeah. Are these paint jobs expensive now? Like, say if you need like a touch up or something, or you wanted to redo the whole thing, are they hard to find? And
If paint jobs are, if the car's perfect and all they need to do is strip it down and paint it, you're still going to spend for a good quality paint job maybe 20 grand.
right.
And then if you have a lot of body work involved as well,
Yeah, it goes over that.
sky's the limit sort of thing.
Right. So I didn't realize too that's a cutout for the exhaust on the regular Cuda, right?
Exactly.
And then it has the side. Okay, that's
So they
yeah.
did.
It's crazy.
Chrysler had they didn't have unlimited funds like Ford and General Motors.
Yeah.
So they did the best they could with what they had. And that was the lower valance for the Barracudas, and they didn't do a special one for this car.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Anything with this car you changed up, or is it just the same?
No, this car is. I'm just taking care of it.
Right.
Yeah. And the undersides of these cars look as good as the top side.
Okay.
And that's on all 3 of these cars.
Okay. All right. So moving on to the Superbird. This is the.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it.
Chrysler lost Richard Petty to Ford in NASCAR, and they wanted him back.
Okay.
So this is the other homologation car that Chrysler built.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I had bought this one, and I thought, God, wouldn't it be cool to have both the homologation cars in the same color?
Right.
And I saw this car the next day. I'm like,
Oh man. Okay.
gotta buy another car.
Okay.
They built 1,935 of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's some discrepancies. Some say 1920, but they pretty much settled on 1,935.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 440 Commando, Super Commando, the 446 barrel, or the Hemi. This one is a 446 barrel. It's one of 709 cars
Wow.
that were built. Out of the 1,935, there is, going back to my crib sheet here, there are 1,257 known to still exist.
Wow.
So they are, the story behind these cars is, in the Daytona Charger was the 69 version.
Right.
Did the 70.
Right.
But Chrysler wanted to go racing. They used a wind tunnel, I believe in Berkeley, California, at the university there. Don't quote me on that, but I'm not sure if it was Berkeley or not. But this car was wind tunnel tested. The Daytona was the first car to break 200 mile an hour barrier.
Yeah.
The tracks.
Right.
So Chrysler did good. There's some stories, people, everybody's got a story again.
Yeah.
Everybody's an expert. But for instance, some of the stories is because of these. Now, in this car, they're faux. If you look in there, the fender's there.
Okay.
In the Daytona, in '69, the street version had the cutout opening. Well, Chrysler told NASCAR that the cutout was for tire clearance. It wasn't for tire clearance at all. It was designed so air would escape and keep the nose of the car down.
That was a little trick they did. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, little. Everybody did medium cheat until they got caught in NASCAR.
Yeah.
The other two stories is the wing. You'll have people that say the wing was designed at a certain height so that the trunk would clear, because it was a rule in NASCAR that the trunk had. Not true. The wing was designed according to the Chrysler engineers. This was the optimal level for clean air. Because as you're driving, you get wind that goes up over the car and drops down.
Right.
This is just the right height to where it was getting clean air.
Wow. Okay.
And this produces up to 800 pounds of downforce.
Wow.
I mean, people go, this thing is real flimsy. No,
Yeah.
this is extruded aircraft aluminum.
Yeah.
And it's and then to further. Oh, I don't know where the keys were.
Oh, I got them in my pocket here.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. Here you go.
Oh boy, here we go. I have no idea what's in the back of this, so it could be a mess. But you see here, that's those frame supports are connected to the frame of the car.
Yeah, bolted
to the
on
frame
the frame.
rails.
Okay.
And then this car came with, of all the cars, it came with two jacks. Your standard jack for the rear, and then a scissor jack assembly if you had to do the front of the car.
Okay. Wow.
So in the trunk, you can see the trunk does not open as far as
Yeah, the
you can
wing.
see what they did. All they did, and Chrysler, they didn't spend a whole lot of money doing this stuff because they were only building a few of them. They just welded a piece of metal here to stop the hinges.
Right. Right.
Like the convertible, you look at it and the trunk opens real wide. This is it for the Bird.
Those are the original tire too, right?
That's the original. I've actually got, with this car, it came with, no, it wasn't this car. That car came with a set of the original bias ply tires.
Wow.
And I had a set of Mopar rally wheels and that I'd bought from a friend. So if you've driven a bias ply car,
Not it. Yeah.
so this one is and again I did the steering wheel on this one. It had the black wheel, but I just like the wheels.
Right.
And it's all original. This car was restored back only about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And it went through a really extensive restoration. I think they spent like 150 grand
Wow.
to restore. 175, that's what they said.
Wow.
84,000.
84,000.
One thing interesting about all three of these cars, the clocks are the first thing to die on these old cars.
Right.
Every single car, the clock works and keeps good time.
Wow.
So 446 barrel. These cars came all equipped pretty much the same. Power disc brakes, power steering, limited slip differential. And this one has the 727, the automatic in it.
Okay.
As well as the CUDA.
Okay.
So,
Are they good like highway cruisers at those gears or?
no.
No.
My buddy, he's got a Roadrunner. And he ended up, it had a 4-speed in it like mine, and he ended up putting a Tremec 5-speed
Oh, okay.
on the car.
Works a little bit better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
made all the difference in the world.
Uh-huh. I've heard some like I've only seen videos about these cars. I watched one guy restore one on YouTube one time. He was selling it at Barrett Jackson, and he had some issues with the overheating because of this big front part here.
They all had overheating problems from day one, because if you look,
Right.
that is your entire air intake.
Right.
So the Superbirds are notorious for overheating.
So you can't drive this thing very far. It's just
You know, it's funny, I have driven it, and I do not, it does not have a problem.
oh, okay.
Now, if it was a 90, 95 degree day, it might be an issue.
Right.
But so far, I have not had any kind of problem at all with the car running hot. It runs good, and I mean, it runs really good.
Right.
When the secondaries, the fun thing, of course, any of these old cars, when you nail them and the secondaries open up, and you hear the, well, with the 3 2-barrel setup, you've just got your primary going, and when you stomp on it and the 2 secondaries open,
Right.
yeah, it makes
I've
a
heard that.
racket. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I've heard that technology is like it's pretty good for the time. Like it's because like I guess back in the day they do like the variable timing with cameras and stuff like that. Not yet. So having that 3-barrel setup is pretty advanced.
These are old school cars.
Yeah.
I mean, points, condensers.
So how'd you get this car? Was it auction or private seller?
This car was a consignment car
Consignment.
again, and I always try to do consignment cars
Yeah.
because Arizona doesn't charge sales tax between individuals.
Right.
This car, well, my history with Superbirds, when I was a kid, I've got an older brother, and he went out and bought an Alpine White Superbird in '70. And I thought that was the coolest car on the planet, between the nose cone and the fin. There was just, nobody made a cooler car. So I'd always wanted one, and in the back of my mind. And I just got this wild hair, and I talked to my wife. I sold a couple cars so that I could buy this, and I've never looked back. But it was my brother buying one that put the bug in my ear, and it took over 50 years.
Yeah.
But
So would you say this is your ultimate dream car here?
oh yeah, this is my holy grail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Forever car.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's my second one because of the having owned one when I was
Right. Very
back
young.
in the Navy.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm loving them.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Awesome. So I guess we'll end up here at the Chevy SS.
Now, a lot of people, this car is like the ultimate sleeper.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what it is.
Right.
It's essentially a four-door Corvette. It's got Brembo brakes, magnetic ride suspension, heads-up display, and a Corvette LS3 engine in it.
Right.
The car's actually a Holden Commodore,
Yep.
which was Holden was GM's Australian arm.
Yeah. Came in right-hand drive and.
Yeah, and whereas Americans, their high-performance cars have always been geared more towards 2 doors, right?
Yeah. Coupes and
The Australians, they were all about 4 doors. I mean, big time.
Yeah.
So Chevy, and again, they wanted to go racing. There's another NASCAR thing, but they had to sell them stateside.
Right. Right.
So they built a number of these over 4 years. I think they built a total of 12,000. The last year was 2017, which is this car, and they built about 4,000, a little over. And this one is one of 460 in the Slipstream Blue. And I bought this car brand new. I'd seen them for years. And I kept telling my wife, God, I'd love to have one of these. And one day we're sitting in a family room, and I'm on Auto Trader, I think. And I see this car. It was up in Boise, Idaho. And GM wanted them gone. I mean, these were $50,000 cars new. And this car was sitting on the showroom floor, and they had it discounted to 38.
Wow, that's a steal.
There's 24% discount.
Yeah, that's a steal.
And I looked at my wife and she goes, okay, go ahead and buy it. So, and I mean, it's just, it's a beautiful car, and it drives amazing. But the most fun part about the whole car, under the hood, is really kind of boring at the end of the day.
It's got a very nice like spec too, Alcantara and
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
if you look in there, yeah, it's just, and the car they came loaded. There were only two options available for the car. One was the moonroof, and the other was a full-size spare. And this car had both of them.
Yeah.
So that was just under the hood.
just plastic everywhere, but it has
Understated.
very understated. This is one of the best motors Chevy's ever made.
Oh, absolutely.
LS3 is up there, yeah. I think I know the most about this car, I think, of all your cars. I know most about this one, but let alone, I haven't seen many of them because they haven't made many of them.
Well, and you're one of the few, because
Yeah.
most people,
Yeah.
I mean, a really fun part about this car, not that I would ever street race, but the car is such a sleeper.
Right.
People see SS and the bow tie, and their thought is naturally it's an Impala SS. The V6 with basically stickers.
Yeah, front wheel drive.
This thing it's funny, it's rated at 415 horsepower.
Wow.
And the Charger, the SRT, is rated at 485. This car is 1/10 of a second slower in both 0 to 60 and a quarter mile.
Right. I'd rather have this one though, still.
Yeah, it's lighter.
Yeah.
It's a lighter weight car,
Yeah.
and it's fun to drive.
Fun to drive. Is this your daily driver then, or?
No, I've treated it like a baby too. It's got, I think, 7,000 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right now in this market, that's a $60,000-$70,000.
Yeah,
SS.
probably about 55, maybe that. So,
I've seen them up there. I don't know.
really?
Yeah, my cousin's looking for one right now, and he's had his eye on a few, but they're up there, especially for
I
the
have a friend that wants
platform.
it really bad.
Yeah.
So
what do you daily drive then out of all these cars? Are you
you know what? I've got a Ram pickup truck.
Oh, okay. Just
That's my daily driver.
yeah.
Yeah. Or the wife's Tiguan.
Right.
It's
So I know you said you're a Mopar guy. What made you get the Chevy out of all the options you had?
I'm a Mopar guy, but I'm not a Mopar guy.
Okay.
I mean, I got a Grand National.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm not a Ford guy. I'm just not. Although I'd love to have a Shelby Mustang sitting in the garage.
Yeah.
They're a little pricey.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the first time I saw one of these, I don't know, I'm just like, wow, what a cool car.
Yeah.
It, to me, is beautiful. It's personal taste.
Right.
I look at the Charger and the Challenger. I love the Challenger, but they're too big. Chrysler or FCA or whoever, they should have made them about 7/8 size, which is what this car is.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So this car, it's all personal taste. The first time I saw one, I'm like, man, what a beautiful car.
Right.
I'd love to own one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me this is like the ultimate daily driver, and it's a shame they didn't make more of them because it's marketing and all that too. They just didn't market it that well. And Australia, they're very popular, but hard to get a
real.
right-hand drive one.
Well, and
so.
that's where Chevy, you hit the nail on the head. They didn't market them.
Yeah.
There was no marketing budget.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is, you read the car magazines, and the E36, I think, the 91 M5 BMW.
Okay, yeah, I think it's
considered
E38, I believe.
Okay, yeah, I remember. But it's considered the finest sports sedan that's ever been built.
Okay.
And this car's compared to it.
Wow.
They go, every magazine that's done reviews on this car says this is the absolute best sports sedan out there.
Mm-hmm.
And they compare it to the M5. So
Wow.
it's nice.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I think it's better value. For honestly, some of the best value you can get.
Yeah.
Considering the LS motor, the platform itself, beautiful interior, nice styling as well. It looks brand new still. Smells brand new still.
Yeah. I'll let you drive this one.
Okay, sounds good. But we're pretty much. This is a small part of your collection. I think. You have some more cars you said you kind of hiding away, but
Grand National.
The Grand National.
And after that, if I had a huge building,
Yeah.
a lot more cars.
Right. Okay.
Because there's so many cars out there that I want to own.
Yeah. Do you plan on getting rid of any of these at any time, or do you just want to stick with these for the time being?
These are I'm probably done. I have the cars that I really like.
Wow.
I mean, I've had GTOs, I've had 442s. I mean, you name it, I've had it. And the Mopars are just special cars.
Yeah.
And then this car's a special car. People don't see it that way, but I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
And then a Grand National is kind of weird. Once you've owned one, you can't not own one. And I went through it where I started out with a WE4, and it was a car I first started taking to the car shows here locally. And like I said, everybody's got a Grand National story, right? And they'd look at the car and go, "Oh, it's a Grand National," and I'd have to go into, "No, it's a WE4. They built 1,547 of them. It's unique, blah, blah, blah." And I finally reached a point where I told my wife, I'm going to go buy a Grand National and get rid of the WE4. And then I sold the GN, and it wasn't a month. I was going, I got to get another one.
Right.
So now I've gotten another one. I'm
Right.
getting rid of it. They're just too much fun to drive.
Yeah. Just a few side questions about everything. I know one thing about my generation is that we were wearing the shirts, like Japanese cars are they're like at the top now. What do you think about trying to get the younger generation into these old American cars and like kind of making them cool again, or having like the presence of them again? Is it kind of like a thing that you're into, or is it?
I mean, that's part of the reason I do this.
Yeah.
Is taking them to the car shows. I mean, this car attracts people like there's no tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, there are car people out there that they're like old curmudgeons.
Mm-hmm.
Don't touch that, like stay off my lawn.
Yeah.
Well, the first time I took this car to a car show, it was Cars for Kids that the sheriffs and the police put on. It was a couple of years ago. And this gentleman with his daughter, she's a little 3-year-old girl, and she's loving this car. I mean, I don't know whether it was looking at the Roadrunner or what, but she loved this car. And I told him, I said, let's put her up on the wing and you can take a picture.
Wow.
And he's like, really? You do that? And I've told people that I've done that, and they go, you're crazy. I'm like, no. I want kids to be into these cars. These cars, you know, you see the demographics, my demographic, I am not a spring chicken. So I'm going to be going away, and there's got to be a love for these cars or they'll go away.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
And,
I agree.
so I have no problem with putting kids in the car and taking pictures, putting them up on the wing, which, I mean, that's just plain cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. You can share the experience with them. That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
We both know the guy that you talked to and his daughter. I used to work for him. His name's Jack. He's
Oh,
local
really?
around here.
Okay.
I used to work for him.
Yeah, see, small. That's what I love about a small community.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, anytime I take this to a car show, if anybody asks me, yeah, no problem.
That's awesome.
Now, if it's like some 20-something-year-old, you know, girl, it's like, well, you're going to have to lift her up and set her on there. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Because my wife will see that, and then it's not going to be pretty.
Well, besides your collecting, do you get into motorsports much? Do you go on the track often? Do you have track cars or no?
No, this would be a track car.
Yeah.
If I was going to do that. In this car, the only thing that I would like to do, and it's going to take a whole lot of convincing, is I want to put a supercharger on it.
Yeah, they bolt on just like.
And they're built for it. The
Yeah.
engines
Yeah.
are designed to take it. And then this is one of the quickest cars in Sierra Vista.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You know, my dad always says, you know, even everybody says, you know, forgiveness is better than permission. So, you know, you put it on there, just hear the noise, and you know, your wife would be like, "What's that?" You know, just always the wind blowing.
The 10 grand.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That creates an issue.
Man, this is an awesome collection, awesome stories.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, this is great, man. I really appreciate it, like always. I mean, this is a long time coming too, so I'm glad we can actually get this done. You know?
We've talked about it for what, a year?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, I think it's just timing just wasn't there, but
Yeah,
you know,
finally.
yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. If I'd known that you wanted all the cars, Daryl and I would have brought the GN over because he's the one.
Right. Yeah, I know he has a few cars as well, right?
You want to do him too
Okay.
because he, you know, whereas me, I don't have the skills. I buy what I like and buy the nicest one I can afford, and then take care of it. Daryl buys them and makes them his own. You've seen his AM.
Yeah. Oh man, beautiful car.
His Roadrunner's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So he's the guy you want to.
Okay. we'll definitely talk. Okay.